Welcome to the Statesboro Herald's 2014 Pigskin Pick'em, brought to you by Seasons of Japan Restaurant and Dr. Troy M. Lawhorn at Statesboro Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery and Dental Implant Center.
Hey, welcome to Week 10 of the Pigskin Pick'em. I'm your host, Josh Aubrey, being joined as always by Matt Yogas, Mike Anthony, and hey, Eddie Ledbetter makes an appearance. He's still leading, although the gap is maybe narrowing just a bit. Hopefully everybody got their Eddie's picks last week and didn't just take for granted he was going to pick against the rest of us. All right, 4 college, 4 high school. Let's begin with the Georgia Southern Eagles, who keep on rolling right along. This week they're a 25.5-point favorite over Troy. Matt Yogas, your thoughts on this one?
Well, first of all, Eddie didn't he didn't have the ability to pick against me for what I was doing, so that's why he only finished 500 this week. Georgia Southern, 25.5-point favorite. I like it. I think that's where it ought to be. Troy's coming to Paulson Stadium beat up. They're 1-7. They haven't been playing very good football this year. The win-1 for the Gipper game already happened. Georgia Southern covers.
All right, Mike.
This will be the 4th team that Georgia Southern's played that is nationally in the bottom 10 of the entire country in rushing yards allowed per game. We've seen what happened to the first 3. I don't think this one's going to be any different. This might be 25 by halftime. Georgia Southern's rolling.
Uh-oh, there's 2.
Let's make it 3, Georgia Southern.
No, we're going with the 4 in a row. Hey, it worked on Southeast Bullock last week, and I don't know, one of us picked Georgia State last week, Mike Anthony. So we're going with the clean.
Oh, no, not Georgia State. I didn't pick Georgia State.
Well, somebody.
I think we've all picked Georgia Southern ever since my Twitter account got blown up.
Yes.
I picked against them before.
I picked Jenkins to beat SCB.
All right. Well, here we go. Everybody picked Georgia Southern for this one. Let's go with Lafayette, another team that Georgia Southern won't have to play this year, but they're taking on South Alabama, a team Georgia Southern has played. Probably the toughest game that Georgia Southern's played in the league. Lafayette, no losses in the conference. South Alabama only one. That came to Georgia Southern. Yogas, 7-point favorites for Lafayette.
I'll take South Alabama because Georgia Southern needs them to knock off Lafayette so they can be the only undefeated team in the conference.
Mike.
South Alabama, they're a tricky team. I think they have the ability to knock off Lafayette, but ever since those 2 bad losses against Ole Miss, against Boise State, the Cajuns have gotten it going. I think their offense is a little bit too much. They get the job done. They just barely cover that zone.
Eddie.
Being at home, I think the Lafayette covers.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Lafayette as well. They played great on Tuesday nights. We'll see if they can do that on Saturday as well. So we got ULL. Yogas, you're going with South Alabama.
Catch the ball.
ULL and ULL.
It's right there. He keeps throwing it right to you.
Georgia, 13-point favorite, which is rare in the game that used to be called the largest outdoor cocktail party, taking on Florida, a team that struggled quite a bit. Yogas, Georgia, 13-point favorites. You've never picked for them. You're going to keep that streak going?
Florida stinks. Usually I have some kind of excuse I can come up with for not picking Georgia, but I don't have one this week, so I'm taking Florida.
Mike.
Well, Florida does stink, but they've got their freshman quarterback starting. He did well the first time he was in. A little bit of an issue keeping him off the field, but he'll be back. Not a lot of game tape on him. I don't know if Georgia can prepare. I think they're fresh out of luck or fresh out of good performances without Gurley. Georgia wins it, but Florida keeps it close. I'll go with the Gators.
All right.
Hey!
All right, 2 Gators.
Yes.
If this game were Georgia by 30, I'd take Georgia. Go with Georgia.
Wow. I don't know that I go with 30, but I do believe Georgia will cover the 13. And so we're split here. We got me and my buddy Eddie going with Georgia, and we got 2 Florida boys.
He led Florida to a 10-9 win over Tennessee. Are we really going to crown him already? Come on.
Georgia Tech, 5 turnovers by Pittsburgh last week helped enable Paul Johnson's team to ring up 50 points and easily outdistance Pittsburgh. This week they got Virginia. And Virginia has played Georgia Tech pretty strong in the past. Georgia Tech, a 3.5-point favorite. Matt Yogas, your thoughts?
There's 3 of you, so whoever's in the majority, that's what I'm going with. Because every time I pick Georgia Tech, the opposite happens. And every time I pick against them,
Well, I'm taking Tech.
Well, let's go. Mike,
pulling that rank.
who you got?
Well, everybody's got that one team that they just don't do well against. UVA seems to be that team for Georgia Tech. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Cavaliers don't fumble the first 5 times they touch the ball. I like UVA in this one.
Eddie.
No, I got to take Tech.
All right, we're kind of split here, so you're going to go with whoever
Yeah, basically whatever you do, I'm doing, John.
All right, I'm going with Georgia Tech.
All right.
So we got Mike out there on the island with Virginia. The rest of us have Georgia Tech to cover and I guess to win in this game. All right, moving to the high school, Statesboro High ran up against Buzzsaw this past week in the Gators of Ware County. This week they're going to be taking on Glenn Academy, a team that's fighting for a playoff spot down there in Brunswick. Statesboro getting 17, Matt Yogus, your thoughts?
Another team that's pretty familiar with Statesboro is Glenn Academy. I think, you know, if you're going to get Statesboro, now is the year to do it. I think Glenn Academy takes advantage and covers the spread.
Mike?
Statesboro, when you do just like your good buddy Mike said and get a late touchdown for a backdoor cover, you have to cover on the ensuing kickoff and not allow Ware to surpass the spread. Glenn Academy, I think it's like Yoga said, they're catching Statesboro while they're down. Long trip to Brunswick, playoffs out of the question for Statesboro. I think it's a down game. I think Glenn covers.
Eddie?
I'll go with Glenn County on this one, Glenn Academy.
Glenn Academy, I'm going to go with the Blue Devils here. I think they're going to be able to keep it within 17. Probably not any chance of an upset here, but I'm taking the Blue Devils. Well, all of you can have the Red Terror on Friday night.
On Halloween.
There you go. All right, next up, Southeast Bullock pretty much can name their score as they take on Islands. Last week, a huge win for the Jackets as they claim the sub-region title. Yogus, your thoughts on playing Islands this week?
I think they cover 33 if it's just Chase Walker lined up against 11 defenders.
All right, Mike.
I think it all depends on when the starters come out. They're in that sub-region. They're in the playing game. They're now the 1 seed. They can't change that. It's just a matter of when the backups come in to get the starters rest. However, I think much like the Georgia Southern game, SCV might be able to cover that by halftime. I'll take the Jackets.
All right, we got 2 Jackets.
I'll make it 3 Jackets.
And we're going to go 4 Jackets because obviously this game, you could make it, I think the only way you're going to make somebody take Islands is if you make it 50-something. So we're all going with Southeast Bullock, and I think we can all go to the window and claim our prizes for this one. Portal, on the other hand, played probably one of their best games and still lost 24-14 at Savannah Christian, a team that's definitely going to the state and definitely has a chance of making some noise in the state. Played a very good game. Can they carry that over to Jenkins? They're a 10-point underdog, according to our own Mike Anthony.
Portal covered 10 on the road at Savannah Christian. They're going to cover 10 at home against Jenkins.
I hear you, Matt.
You talk about having a letdown game after a big win. This could be a bit of a letdown after a close loss. Portal left it all out on the field. I know they got a home game. Jenkins County nowhere near the offensive explosion as Savannah Christian.
Oh, he's rethinking it now.
I'm rethinking it. I had Jenkins
Yogus,
County
why'd
written
you have
down,
to go and tell him that?
but I'm going to stick with it. It's in pen. I can't erase it. I'm going to go Jenkins County.
All right.
I'm also going with Jenkins County.
Yogus, me and you riding the Panthers this week. I think Jenkins County runs the ball. Portal's having more trouble against the pass. I think they not only cover, I'm taking the Panthers to win this game. So we got 2 Portal and 2 Jenkins County. There we go. All right,
Put the
rapid.
2 in the middle.
Yep.
Sorry. All right, we can fix this in post-production.
That'll look great. We'll edit that right out.
All right, we'll fix
You
it.
got an eraser right there.
There's an eraser. I'll erase it now. BA, a pick 'em against Pinewood, wrapping things up. The Gators or Pinewood, one of them is going to be the number 1 seed. The other one will be number 2. They both get to host, but a big game nonetheless. Should be a good crowd on hand. Matt Yogus, your thoughts on this one?
This will be a fight to the finish, and I think that's a good place to stop. I'll take BA.
All right, Mike.
Last year, BA had a down year. They finished it by Pinewood coming in, rubbing their faces in a little bit on their way to the playoffs while BA sat at home. The Gators remember that. Just like Yogi said, it's going to end right at the finish, and BA will be on top.
Eddie.
Yeah, I'll take the Gators also.
All right, clean sweep for the Gators. I'm going to go with them as well. So we're all taking BA to win the region championship. They've been on a roll lately. We got BA. And since we have a second, I'll go ahead and change this. Yogus and me are taking Portal, and the other 2 are going with Jenkins County.
Man, you pick against the county team, and all of a sudden we're the other 2.
The other 2 guys, those other 2 in the middle here. The
War
2
Eagle,
that,
right?
For
the
next
2
year,
that are
Mary Ann, we don't even get the credits.
the 2 that are leading and the 2 that are trailing. So that'll wrap it up for this week. All right, that'll do it for us for this week. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you again next week for Pigskin Pick'em.